There was massive opportunities to help really automate a lot of the manual processes in commercial real estate for the benefit of the operators as well as the tenants. But it's an industry based on relationships.
Welcome everyone to UpTech Report. UpTech Report is sponsored by TerraLeaf.io. Learn how to leverage the power of video. My guest today, I'm joined by Michael Wong, who's based in Irvine, California, and CEO of Genea. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Your product is a cloud-based software for commercial real estate. And you were sharing that it's owners of commercial real estate. This is definitely a tool they may want to check out. And you also mentioned that it's kind of like a Nest type component for your office with a billing element. Can you dive in a little bit deeper of what was the problem you initially set out to solve, and how has this evolved over time of what the solution you provide?
Yeah, so there are different solutions. The first product I bought into, which I'll get into the history later on, was overtime HVAC services in office buildings primarily. And so it used to be a very manual process where if you have to work late tonight or over the weekend, you'd have to contact property managers 24 hours in advance. You'd have to dispatch engineers to program the equipment to turn it on. And then there's a billing component to it, because when you turn on HVAC services after hours, it costs the building money. So those invoices or costs are passed along to the tenants. So what used to be a very inconvenient process for the property team as well as for the tenants, we were able to solve with software. So our software plugs directly into the BMS system, the building management system of a building. Doesn't matter what kind of system you have. It could be Trane, Siemens, Johnson Controls. We can communicate to everything. And once we're plugged in, the tenants simply have to log into an app on their phone, our app, request for service 3 to 6 p.m. tonight. Per your lease, that 3-hour request is going to cost you $330. Once you confirm it, sends confirmation emails, turns it on at 6, turns it off at 9, creates an invoicing at the end of the month. All that billing information flows directly into their accounting software for the property team. So once again, what used to be a very manual process, not convenient for the tenants, has now been automated soup to nuts. So that was the initial technology.
You mentioned there when you bought in. We'll get more into that in part 2 of our interview, but just to share a little bit, when you bought into Genea about 9 years ago, I think it was, what's one thing you had wished 9 years ago you had known then that you do know now?
I wish that I would have known it was going to take as long to build the brand, because commercial real estate, as a little bit of a backdrop, is one that had been very slow to adopt technology for good reasons, right? If you were a very successful owner of commercial real estate, the reason why you were successful is because you bought buildings right, you sold them right, and you leased them up correctly. It was all transactionally driven in terms of value creation. So on the operational side, on the property management side, it was viewed as not really all that important, because it really didn't drive the value. It was somewhat of a commodity. During the last financial crisis in 2009, 2010, if there's anything good that came out of that, it's commercial real estate owners had to own their assets longer, and therefore they look internally, how do we incrementally create value? And that's when they start adopting technology. So the reason why I give you that backdrop is there was massive opportunities to help really automate a lot of the manual processes in commercial real estate for the benefit of the operators as well as the tenants. But it's an industry based on relationships. And so there's a lot of commercial real estate technology companies that have popped up that have come to me and said, how did you get 21 of the top 25 largest owners of office buildings to be clients? And I said, it's not easy. You have to build trust. You have to do it via relationships, because it's a very relationship driven industry. And so that's what I kind of learned the hard way, which is you can't just snap your fingers. And even though we have a wonderful product with a lot of value props, they don't know you from a hole in the wall. So you really have to kind of earn your reputation over time, which we have.
For those that want to hear more of Michael's story, I'm excited to hear that when we jump into that part 2 of our interview. But coming back to then the product itself that you've built, what would you say for those who are owners of commercial real estate, a common maybe misconception or thought that they may be having right now that they should be thinking about differently when it comes to managing their facility and using their BMS?
Yeah, so with specifically that overtime HVAC product, right now, people who don't know that there's an automated way of providing service, like our Genea app, they just think the work order system's fine, right? Just the way we do it is just fine. And so I think, as we see home automation go through, the Nest evolution, you can now control your door locks through an app on your phone via, internet-enabled devices. All that stuff, your tenants are expecting that now in their office. And so to the extent that you don't keep up with their expectations, then you will lose the battle of retaining and attracting tenants into your buildings. So we're seeing that across the board for most of their top commercial real estate owners is we need to, when we're talking about improving a building, a lot of the focus historically has been on the physical aspects of the building, upgrade the elevators, upgrade the lobbies, make the physical structure look nicer. But a key component of what tenants are looking for is now, does the building have the technology that I expect? And so we're a part of that. So we do that with our HVAC technology. Our access control technology is making a massive impact. Instead of using your white HID card to swipe in and out of buildings, tenants would like to use their phone instead, because you never lose this device, but you can lose that white card all the time. So those are the things that the tenants are looking for. And quite frankly, we can bring more convenience to the tenants as well as streamline the operations for the property teams.
So the common misconception is the status quo is fine. What
Right.
we have, what we're doing is fine. But the tenants, your customers, your consumers, they're expecting a better level of technology when they're using it. Am I catching that correct?
Absolutely. While at the same time, because so much of the technology is software based, you can actually get a very compelling return on investment because there's not typically a major upfront cost. So it's not like you're having to invest in a brand new chiller. Most of the software that we have created or acquired all works with your existing equipment. So you can increase the functionality of it, bring a better tenant experience. And we have time and time again been able to quantify a ROI that has been very, very compelling for all our clients.
This leads nicely into a question around your business model. Is it a large overhead cost up front? What does that look like as far as the end who's using this?
So much of the company has been built on that trust, right? Our brand is one where we've really earned the trust of our clients. And so we don't go to a large real estate owner and say, here's our product, roll us out into your entire portfolio. Quite frankly, we basically say, let's work on a pilot program of give us, a building or two or three. Let's prove out this specific product's value prop within that pilot, and then we'll earn the right to do more. And so a couple of stats I'll tell you about. The reason why I know we've done a good job is we've had 99% customer retention at the building level, which is outstanding because this is an industry where buildings are bought and sold all the time. So time and time again, even when a building gets sold into another portfolio, we earn the right to stay with that building. So we're almost like carpet and paint. It's kind of weird to be a technology company without the carpet and paint. But then the other thing I kind of point to in terms of earning trust is our Net Promoter Score. So Net Promoter Score is customer satisfaction score. And our last customer satisfaction score of 75 Net Promoter it puts us above Apple in terms of how loyal and how passionate our customers feel about us. So why do I bring that up? It's because you asked, how do we charge for our services? It's very much of a prove it model. So for all our software applications, we don't charge anything up front for the setup fee. We'll invest our time, we'll invest our money to getting the building set up and implemented. We don't start charging a fixed monthly fee until we go live. And we don't even ask for a long-term commitment. We just ask for 12 months. During that 12-month process, you pay us that fixed monthly fee, and that fee depends on which service you have. At the end of 12 months, if we haven't done a great job driving value, if we haven't made your property team or your tenants happier, then unplug us, we didn't do our job. So it's not like our high retention is because of long-term contracts. We've constantly earned our right to continue to do business, and we proved ourselves. So
that's really helpful to you fully believe in it. If you're going to invest the time and energy and money before someone starts paying you. you mentioned integrating with their BMS. Do you integrate with any type of building management system?
Yeah, so the things that we integrate with our HVAC product, we integrate directly into your BMS system, and those systems are made by Siemens, Honeywell, Johnson Controls, and it could be an old 20-year system that's proprietary, not open protocol. It doesn't matter. We built software to communicate to all the different brands. So that's for the HVAC product. For our sub-meter billing product, to the extent your sub-meters are networked back into either a data collector or into the BMS, we could physically plug our software into the data collector or into the BMS, automatically read the meters, and automatically create invoicing for it. So that's been very helpful in terms of streamlining that manual process. And then for the access control side of things, to the extent that you have Mercury-based access control hardware, so that's about 60% of the underlying hardware out there has Mercury firmware, then we could plug directly into that. So we could do a software takeover of that hardware and bring a much better cloud-based solution to that. So it really depends on which product you have. The whole mindset is we want to help increase the productivity of your existing equipment without having you make a big upfront investment. We can bring software, compelling software to make it work better.
Where do you see the company in 5 years from now? What can you share on the roadmap of where you guys are headed?
So we're a big fan of, we go where the customers need us. And so starting off with the HVAC product, we built a really good reputation there. And the reason why we got into the sub-meter billing is because our customers said, we love this HVAC product. It's made our tenants' lives better. It's made our property teams' lives better. It's made us more money. Can you help us with another problem? And the problem that kept on coming up is these sub-meters were being, clipboards and spreadsheets. So we basically developed a better solution to help solve that problem. Now we're billing for over 20,000 sub-meters around the country. It's last year grew organically over 70%. And then when you start, staying close to your customers, hearing about other pain points that they had, access control was a major pain point. Every time somebody joins a tenant within the building and needs an access card, it's somebody physically has to go down for the property management team to the physical on-premise server to add and remove users every time somebody joins another company. It's a full-time job. And so understanding that, knowing that 99% of the access control is software sitting in a server in a basement of a computer, that whole industry will go to the cloud. And so we looked at either acquiring or developing a better solution. Long story short, in December of last year, we acquired what is by far and away the best technology for the space. And we're rolling that out to our clients. So 5 years from now, what I would say is that because commercial real estate has been slow to adopt technology, there is no 800-pound gorilla in our space. I think there will be an 800-pound gorilla because if you're Brookfield, Hines, Irvine Company, EQ Office, if you're people that work in those companies, you want to have a brand that you can rely on, right? And so there's really no brand that you can rely on until now. So Genea has become that brand. Our net promoter score and our retention tells me that. So so that's the goal: build the 800-pound gorilla that this industry needs.
Very forward-facing. You see what people need and are already planning for it, making acquisitions for it. I'm excited to see what comes next for Genea. For those that want to hear more about Michael's journey and lessons learned, stay tuned for part 2 of our discussion. Have you seen a company using AI, machine learning, or other technology to transform the way we live, work, and do business? Go to uptechreport.com and let us know.